Good morning, heads. Just wanted to sit there and bring y'all to a question. As y'all know, the crisis that we have down in Mexico U.S. border, where thousands of people are being brought into the U.S. at a very extremely high rate. If y'all sit there and watch the reports and stuff like that, there is an extremely high case. Almost every one of them little bitches are being tested positive for the COVID crap. Now, don't that make it funny? Don't that make you question it? Does that make you feel good about sitting there and having all this COVID crap being released back into the country? It is starting to go down very nicely in this country. But now things are going a little bit south again. I was talking to a few friends of mine about this, and they sat there and we all came up with the same agreement. It's just a way for the government to sit there and keep us down. They don't want us to recover. They don't want us to sit there and get our lives back in order. They don't want us to sit there and start getting our country back because they won't make as much money as they are now. They won't be able to keep us controlled. I've sat there and I've watched several friends of mine that live down the border, down in Nogales, Arizona, down through El Paso, New Mexico, Texas, Arizona. They all say the same damn thing. The COVID crisis is high down there. And Mr. Joe Biden sat there and he goes, no other president, well, Trump, the reason why they're coming up here to the U.S. now for is because Joe Biden's a nice guy. This is his words. No, Joe Biden, you ain't nice. He don't care whatsoever. Hey, Flossie, how you doing, sweetheart? Good to see you. You know, right when our country was starting to go good, the COVID started to open up. Texas opens up completely, 100%. And now, because of the virus, the influx of illegal aliens being released into the U.S., don't that make it a little bit funnier? You know, that They sat there and mocked Trump for sitting there, turning back, putting people in cages. He never done that. The cages that are built down there are from the Obama Biden era. All of those cages down there are from Biden, Obama. Trump has stopped to their mass capturing. They sat there and they ran with it. The videos that you see or photos that you see where kids are in cages and stuff like that, that's not during Trump administration. If the few that you do see that were kids are in cages, if you look into the background of that picture, you'll see a Walmart. Hey, sweets, how you doing, on? Oh, pardon me. Yeah, I just decided to do a quick live video about the border issue that we have. Yep. And that's the other thing right there. In all of the history, all of the media has always been down there at the border. Trump administration, Obama administration, Clinton administration, Bush, Reagan, you have it. Ted Cruz sat there and went down there and he videotaped some of it. And there are mass amounts of kids not 6 feet apart, not even 6 inches apart from each other. You know, they're almost touching. Some of them are touching, and depending on where you're at. Because if it is ran by a Democrat sits there and says, hey, it is what Biden and Pelosi say. Oh, yes. Speaking of Pelosi, her family is not only responsible for the KKK, and I don't mean cool colored kids, but Pelosi's family is high into the mafia. I don't remember exactly which part of her family is in the mafia, but yeah, because of Biden, and I knew it was a big mistake to ever put that moron in office. A failure in 1987 when he ran for presidency before. He had to drop out. He was forced to drop out because he plagiarized everything in his college. The man is a compulsive, useless liar. He's a fake, fraud, phony, plagiaristic baboon. Oh, yeah, yeah. They're calling the shots, but we're paying for it because there's not anybody standing up against it. And for me, that don't sit right. My gut don't sit right because if I see something wrong, I'm going to call it. I'm going to sit there and I'm going to call it like it is. I'm going to call a spade a spade. And I'm hoping this gets shared to the point of where it gets to Pelosi's views and Biden's views. And I'm hoping that YouTube gets a wind of this because I can guarantee you they want to fight. I'll give them a fight. I'll sit there and I'll go toe to toe with any of these little bastards whatsoever. But yeah, but Biden is not as stupid as he thinks. He's letting everybody think. He is not that stupid. He is a fox. He's very cunning. He knows what he's doing. I mean, fuck, he's been in, according to him, he has been in office for 130 years, something like that. 180 years, something like that, according to Biden. Oh, he ain't stupid. I mean, but he sat there and made, I think they said that he made $86 million just talking to the Ukraine about our nuclear stuff. It just happened that he moved right next to George Soros. He moved his family to next to George Soros. Yep. Hunter is not another dumbass. He's got high criminal ties as well. Welcome back, Flossie. Yeah, I just, you know, right when you think the country is getting back in order, the COVID crap is starting to go down at a great rate. Now, because of Biden sitting there saying, oh, yeah, bitches, come on up, bring your diseases, bring your horse, bring your drugs, bring your cartel. Now, just watch. Yeah, see, the COVID is spiking up again. That means everything will be shut down again. But I can guarantee you, they're not going to blame the border. They're not going to blame those people down there in the border. They're going to sit there and say because no one's wearing their mask and they're not social distancing themselves. So you know what? I think it's high time that we social distance these morons out of our country. Make them realize that we, the people, will not take it. Yep. Yeah. But the bad thing is, Reese, is that they are being tested once they get to the border. And almost every one of those little bitches down there have COVID. And they're supposed to be turned around back. But because Biden sat there and says, bring them, they are not turning anyone away. They are not turning anyone away. And that's the bad part because they don't care about, oh, yeah, yeah, at our dime. Kids walking thousands of miles by themselves, thousands of miles by themselves. Now, the only thing that comes to my mind on that thing is because they're being trafficked for sex. The demon rats that are running this place right now are known for child sex trafficking. Who's involved in the border? You guessed it, the demon rats. So, what did they do? They pick up these kids, they place them in certain homes that they already know their crimes. I got a shaved dick, maybe. But when you really look at the government as a whole, oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, speaking of that, yes. Hey, Big D, how you doing, bud? Miss you, bud. But one thing that gets me, speaking of the phone, is now they have cell phones placed in certain areas down in Arizona's desert. I don't know about the rest of them, but one thing that gets me is the fact that they sit there and they have cell phones in specific areas. And oh, it's probably me again. Ow. But like I said, they have cell phones out there. When you sit there and you look at some of these activists that are sitting there bringing water and stuff like that, they're not only doing that, they've got cell phones that every day they sit there and they go out and collect those cell phones. There are cell phones tied to trees with numbers on them. Every night they go out there and they collect the cell phones. So that way there's no trace. To me, that just kind of doesn't sit right. You got people coming in trying to do the humanitarian thing, but yet they collect cell phones that's out in the middle of the desert every night, just so that way there's no proof. Well, oh yeah, it's going to be. And see, that's the other thing. They are not vaccinating any of them whatsoever. That is one of the reasons why the government stated that they don't want the media down there. They do not want the government down there whatsoever. All right, excuse me. The government does not want the media down there because they will know the truth. They will see how bad it really is. And the fact that they are not being vaccinated. There's too many sheep right now. And that's the bad part. We need more wolves. We need more balls. You know, we need to stand up right now and say enough is enough. You know, yeah. And a friend of mine, he's got a news deal, independent news. He was down in Nogales yesterday, doing a live feed, and he sat there and he went along the border. And he sat there and he goes, you know what's funny? Wherever there's a wall, they're not hitting. They're coming in droves where the law is not. They're coming in where the walls are not. Yeah, a few of them come over, they cut the wire and all that stuff, but for the most part, they're not doing much. But we, the people, are paying for it. Yep. Yeah, and it sucks ass. Like I said, we, the people, are paying for it. We, the people, are paying for it. We need to start getting our balls back. We need to sit there and start taking our country back. I should say, our countries back. Because it's just not happening here in the U.S., it's happening all over. Yep. Oh, yeah, yeah. People like I said, we are paying for it. How much more are we going to pay? How many of our lives are going to be lost? How much more are we going to lose before we all start standing up together saying, enough bullshit, enough of this chaos, enough is enough? Yeah, I hear you there, the Swedes. None of that stuff ever works. The subway that they've got down there in, oh, what the hell's that? Uh, Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley is where YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, several of the others are at. Big tech wants their own playgrounds. Easy way to smuggle in more people. Easy way to smuggle in more people. To use things they don't want us to know about. Yep. And like I said, Pelosi is hiding the truth about her family. She's got family that is mafia. She's from a mafia family. How do you think most of these demon rats get voted in? How do you think Pelosi keeps getting stuck in office? How do you think a lot of these government morons got in? Yeah, Florida, speaking of felon voting, Florida sat there and had their votes to where all of a sudden felons are able to vote. It just happened this voting year. Yep. Oh yeah, yeah. Yep. And one thing I don't understand is why everybody sits there and says, "Oh, George Soros is a good guy." No, he ain't. George Soros hates the U.S. He hates England. He hates several of the other countries. He hates those that are allies with the U.S. He's always stated that many times over. He's always stated that he does not care for us whatsoever. The funny thing is, yep, George Soros is the key funder for the Demon Rat. Pelosi and Soros share ownership in a couple of businesses. They own good large stocks of some of these. Yep, George Soros was the instigator during World War II. He led thousands to their death. What does your malfunction? My boot is too big for you, butthead. Sorry. But yeah, George Soros was the one that sat there and helped the Germans kill our own people, his own people. He sat there and he was making mass amounts of money killing our troops. He would sit there and use them up, sit there because he was a young boy. He would play him. He would lead them to their death. And people sit there and say, oh, he's a nice guy. He's like, no, he ain't. In one day, he almost bankrupt England. In 93, he made $1 billion off of England. He has made $1 billion off of us. He's not stupid. He's also the funder for the BLM, the Antifa morons, the ones that are doing all this rioting. You bring it to the table. You go to his website, minimum of $1,000 an hour. $1,000 an hour to riot, to loot. You got your lawyer fees paid for. Yep. You've got bail money if you get arrested. Your medical is paid for when you get your ass kicked. Not if, when. But see, it also states that are you willing to put effort into the writing if you're willing to do this? Da, da, da. Yep, I remember that. Hey, that was good to see Big D here. First time he's ever seen me live. But yeah. Oh yeah, yep. Yeah, and they give each other a reach around every night. Oh. But anyway, I need to cut this short real quick. But anyway, I love y'all. Be safe out there. Get your balls back. All right. Start using your voice. Start standing up before it's too late. Before I do leave for a while, one thing I'm going to do is, as always, it don't matter what nation you're from, where you served, whether it be Navy, Marines, Air Force, Coast Guard, whatever, Army. You got a hearty salute here. We love y'all. We got your six. We got your support here at this channel. Y'all be safe out there. And no matter what cut you got on, no matter what club you're in, no club, if you're out there riding on twos, get my hearty salute. We love y'all here. No matter what cut you got on, 1%, 99%, lone wolf, whatever. Yeah. Yeah, and see, a lot of people here love Soros because he's a good guy. Just the same thing as Biden said. He's a good guy. Now, I know that term good guy very well in the mafia term. Oh, yeah, yeah, yep. And he done it again this year. This election is one of the key things that he helped disrupt. It was kind of funny where this virus hits on a election year. We've had many pandemics before, world pandemics, but yet it's only this year that it disrupts everything. All because of an election year, and they wanted control over everything. The riots, the looting, the pillaging, the murders. Then all of a sudden, the pandemic, the COVID-19, all hit on an election year. Just so that way things could be switched in midstream. Anyway, y'all have a good day. Love y'all. I'll be back later on. I'm going to do something different today. I'm going to try something new later on, I think. But I've got some research to do. And I want to see how well I could do it. But anyway, y'all stay safe out there. Ride safe, ride free, live hard, love harder. Make someone smile today. Make someone laugh today. You never know if you're going to change their lives. Love y'all. Night. I'll be back later on.